You may not remember the night you were born, but the universe does. While the room prepared for your arrival, the sky was already aligned, not just in stars and planets, but in frequency, intention, and unseen geometry. You came through a moment so specific that it will never repeat again in the history of time. Not with those exact energies, not with that combination of silence, light, and breath. Most people think of birth as biology, a medical event. But what if it was a signal? What if you weren't just entering the world? You were responding to a call. That night held a map. Your time of birth wasn't random. It was chosen by you, before the noise, before the forgetting, because the night you were born wasn't the start of your story. It was the moment your frequency anchored, and the deeper you understand what was happening in that hour, the clearer your entire life becomes. Let's go back to the hour, to the sky, to the exact moment the world received you. And let's ask, what did the universe already know when you took your first breath? Time of birth, a hidden code. Look at your birth certificate. That hour, 2:17 a.m., 6:42 p.m., maybe just past midnight, seems like a timestamp. But it's more than that. It's a coordinate, a moment in time where energy, intention, and timing met in one precise intersection. Your time of birth encodes your entry point, not just into a body, but into a frequency field. Each hour holds a different energetic rhythm. The early morning hums with liminality, the in-between. Midday pulses with action and direction. Night brings absorption, reflection, and mystery. You didn't just land at a random moment. Your soul chose a precise vibration, a cosmic password that matched the mission you came here to fulfill. And this isn't just spiritual poetry. Astrology, numerology, even esoteric time mapping systems recognize that the time of birth creates a unique configuration of influences, thresholds, and potential paths. That time wasn't picked for convenience. It was chosen for alignment. So when you look at that hour again, don't ask, what time was I born? Ask, what frequency did I arrive with? Because that explains everything. The sky was speaking. On the night you were born, the sky wasn't still. It was in motion, whispering, shifting, aligning, and it was speaking. The positions of the planets, the phase of the moon, the constellations visible or hidden in the horizon, all of them were forming a precise arrangement. Not random, not decorative, but coded. The ancients didn't just watch the sky for beauty. They read it, because they understood that the sky was the first script, the first calendar, the first mirror of what was happening below. That night, your soul stepped through a gateway, and the celestial bodies became your witnesses and your blueprint. The planet that was rising on the eastern horizon, your ascendant, etched your outer personality. The moon carved your emotional tone. Venus, Mercury, Mars, each one left a signature in your field. You carry those placements in your nervous system, in your timing, in your natural inclinations. You didn't just show up that night. You arrived in resonance with a sky that was already calling your name. And when you understand what the sky was doing, you begin to understand what your energy was born, ready to respond to. Because the stars didn't predict your life, they anchored its rhythm. You were born into a specific frequency. Every moment in time carries a vibration. Just like a tuning fork, each hour, each second, emits a specific tone, not in sound, but in resonance. And you didn't just arrive in a hospital room. You arrived inside that vibrational note. It surrounded you as you took your first breath, and it stayed with you, woven into your body, your intuition, your pace. This frequency wasn't accidental. Your soul chose a precise, energetic moment, one that matched what you came here to explore, resolve, or awaken. Some frequencies are fast, activating, sharp. Others are deep, still, grounding. And these aren't just poetic metaphors. They're real energetic fields. Subtle, yes, but detectable in how you feel, connect, and move through life. Ever wonder why you're drawn to certain types of people, certain music, places, moments of the day? It's not just preference, it's resonance recall. Your birth frequency continues to magnetize what matches its tone. That's why some days feel off for no logical reason. You're out of alignment with your original signature. But when you reconnect with that frequency, through breath, stillness, or remembrance, you begin to feel like yourself again. Not the version shaped by others, but the one that entered this life with absolute clarity. Why certain people are born at night versus day. It's easy to overlook, but whether you were born under sunlight or moonlight isn't just about visibility. It's about vibrational context. The time of day shapes the energetic weather of your arrival. People born during the day often carry solar qualities, outward expression, clarity of mind, drive to lead or illuminate. They feel called to be visible, to generate, to move forward. People born at night tend to hold lunar frequencies, introspection, emotional depth, intuition, and quiet transformation. They operate in the undercurrents, not hidden, but submerged, like roots beneath soil. It doesn't mean one is stronger than the other. It means you were shaped by the light source that received you. And this matters. Day-born souls often feel more pressure to perform, to shine, to produce. Night-born souls often wrestle with the unseen, carrying collective emotion, ancestral echoes, or subtle perception they can't always explain. And here's the truth. You don't choose one path over the other. You are the result of that energetic timing. Knowing this helps you understand how your nervous system was imprinted, why certain environments feel safe, and others feel unbearable. Because your arrival wasn't just into space, it was into light or shadow, and both hold sacred purpose. The moon's role in your soul's contract. The moon wasn't just a silent witness the night you were born. It was an active participant, a mirror, a messenger, and in many ways, a contract holder. Its phase, new, waxing, full, waning, set a tone, an energetic backdrop that your soul agreed to navigate. If you were born during a new moon, you carry the energy of beginnings, internal growth, unseen momentum. Your life may revolve around planting seeds in silence and trusting what others can't see yet. A full moon birth? That's about intensity, illumination, living in high contrast, emotional, spiritual, and often karmic. You came to complete cycles, confront dualities, and bring clarity to what others avoid. Waxing and waning moons. These phases are transitional. They suggest lives marked by constant evolution, never staying in one identity for too long, always unfolding, releasing, adjusting. But the moon's influence isn't just metaphorical. It's physiological. It shapes water. It moves tides. And you, being mostly water, responded to that pull before you even took your first breath. In many esoteric traditions, the moon governs memory, intuition, and soul imprint. So the phase it held when you entered didn't just influence your personality. It sealed part of your soul's focus in this life. Energetic weather. What the world felt. When you entered. When you were born, the world didn't just watch you arrive. It received you. And the energy it held in that moment left an imprint deeper than words, deeper than memory. There was an energetic climate in motion, collective thoughts, emotions, fears, hopes, planetary events, even the mood of your family, all weaving into a subtle field that wrapped around you the instant you took your first breath. It's what some traditions call the birth atmosphere, not just physical weather, but emotional and spiritual pressure systems. Were people anxious or hopeful? Was there grief or celebration in the air? Was the world quiet or in chaos? You felt it. Before language, before logic, you absorbed it. Some souls arrive in storms, metaphysical ones. They carry that tension with them, spending a lifetime learning to release what was never personally theirs. Others arrive in stillness, but awaken to external disruption later, as if they were born to stabilize what's unstable. Your entrance didn't happen in isolation. It happened inside a living field of emotion, thought, and history. And parts of you are still responding to that initial energetic landscape. To understand who you are, you have to understand the air you first breathed, not just through lungs, but through your aura. Location matters, not just time. We often ask, what time was I born? But just as important is, where? Your place of birth isn't just geography, it's geometry, a fixed coordinate on the planet's energy grid, known in many esoteric systems as ley lines or dragon lines, points where the Earth breathes differently. The latitude and longitude of your arrival determine not only your astrology chart, but your resonance with the planet itself. That location anchored your energy into a unique geomagnetic field. The ground you were born on carries memory, ancestral, elemental, cultural, and your body remembers it. It's why some people feel strangely drawn to their birthplace or repelled by it. Why visiting certain places feels like returning to something you didn't know you were part of. Location affects more than your body. It shapes your emotional baseline, your relationship with direction, movement, and belonging. In certain spiritual systems, the land holds contracts, agreements your soul made before entering. And being born on that land activates part of your assignment. So the city, the village, the coastline, the mountain, wherever you entered this world, it wasn't chosen by chance. You didn't just fall from the sky. You plugged into one specific frequency on a planet alive with memory. Birthmarks of the soul, what you carried in with you. Not everything about you began here. Some parts of who you are didn't start with your childhood, your parents, or your environment. They came with you. You were born carrying echoes, energetic imprints, residues from past lives, unfinished stories, and codes from your soul lineage. Think of them as birthmarks of the soul, invisible to the eye but deeply woven into your behavior, your instincts, your patterns of fear, desire, and purpose. Ever had a phobia that made no sense? A talent no one taught you? A place you've never been to, but miss as if it were home? These are not coincidences. They're signatures, pieces of memory carried through the veil, embedded in your field. Some of what you call personality may actually be unfinished agreements. Spiritual debts, creative missions paused mid-story, or wisdom so old it bypasses explanation entirely. This is why your birth moment isn't a beginning. It's a continuation. And recognizing what you brought in doesn't limit your path. It unlocks it. Because once you realize that you didn't come here empty, you stop trying to start from scratch. And you start asking deeper questions. What have I already mastered? What have I already seen? And what did I come back to finish? Spiritual witnesses. Who was present on the other side? Your birth wasn't a solo event, not on the physical plane, and certainly not on the spiritual one. When you crossed into this life, there were witnesses. Not doctors, not midwives, but souls. Some were guides, beings who've walked with you for lifetimes, guardians of your contract, ensuring the passage went as planned. Some were ancestors, waiting on the edge of the veil, passing you the final threads of a lineage that stretches back before time was measured. Others were part of your soul group, the ones you've traveled with again and again. Some came before you, some would arrive after, but they stood present in your transition, acknowledging your courage, your timing, your return. Many spiritual traditions speak of this, the sacred assembly that gathers when a soul incarnates with mission. You may not remember their faces, but the feeling of not being fully alone, even in silence. That's them, still walking beside you. Even those who didn't make it into this lifetime with you, lost siblings, parallel timelines, unborn presences, can act as energetic companions, pushing you gently toward your path. So when you feel surrounded by something but can't explain what, you're not imagining it. You're remembering a welcoming that never really ended. Your first breath was a spiritual signal. That first inhale, the one you took seconds after arriving, was more than survival. It was a signal. To your body, it meant life. But to the spiritual field around you, it meant activation. Your breath carries frequency, and your first one was like striking a tuning fork. It sent a vibration into the space around you, imprinting your energy onto the physical plane. In many esoteric traditions, the first breath is considered more sacred than the moment of birth itself. It's the moment when the soul fuses with form. The breath seals the entry, and not just symbolically. It's physiological. Your lungs inflate, your brain responds, your entire nervous system lights up, anchoring your frequency signature into a body that can now hold it. Think of it as a broadcast. That moment said, "I'm here. I have arrived. The assignment begins." And some say, that signal doesn't just go outward. It echoes back, through timelines, through karmic memory, through the soul's own network of purpose. It's why breath is sacred in nearly every spiritual tradition, from meditation to prayer to chanting. Because your breath isn't just for living, it's for remembering. So that first one, that wasn't survival. That was recognition. What the darkness was hiding that night, not every part of your birth was visible. Some things didn't happen in the delivery room, but in the unseen layers surrounding it. Because when you arrived, you didn't just enter light. You crossed through shadow. There are energies, contracts, and collective karmas that hide beneath the surface of each birth. And some souls, especially the ones born during periods of collective tension, family trauma, or energetic turbulence, volunteer to carry parts of that weight, not as punishment, but as transmuters, as bridge builders, as those who come in to complete what others never could. The night you were born might have looked peaceful, but what was happening energetically, behind the curtain, could have been intense. Ancestral pain ready to be cleared. Emotional patterns passed down unconsciously. Spiritual debts waiting for someone brave enough to break them. And sometimes, the soul chooses to arrive exactly when that darkness is most concentrated, so that its very presence becomes a light point in an otherwise tangled grid. You might feel it even now, that invisible tension you can't quite name, the sense that something older than you is living just beneath your story. It is. But the gift is this. If you were born into shadow, you weren't sent to be consumed by it. You were sent to restructure it, to shift the frequency from the inside out. It wasn't just birth. It was assignment. You've thought of your birth as the beginning. But what if it wasn't? What if it was a deployment? Your soul didn't simply arrive. It answered. There was an alignment of energies, a convergence of time, space, and spiritual context that required a very specific frequency. Yours. And so you came. Not to complete someone else's task, not to blend in, but to carry something only you could bring. The moment of your birth wasn't an accident. It was the execution of timing planned beyond this lifetime. The skills you hold, the wounds you carry, the patterns you repeat, all of it, part of the assignment. You weren't just born, you were initiated. And that means your life isn't a random unfolding. It's a response to a deeper call, one you may have forgotten, but that's never stopped echoing inside you. That feeling of, there's something I'm supposed to be doing, isn't anxiety. It's memory. And now that you know what that night truly was, it's time to ask the only question that matters. Are you answering the assignment, or just surviving the incarnation? The universe didn't guess. You weren't a coincidence. You were calculated. Your birth wasn't simply an arrival. It was a placement, a mark on the grid, a vibrational answer to a question this planet was already asking. Every second, every breath, every choice since then has been part of your unfolding. But the clarity begins now. Because once you understand the precision of the moment you came through, you stop doubting your presence. You stop minimizing your path. The night you were born wasn't random. It was an act of cosmic engineering. And now that you remember, the only thing left to do is to live like it meant something. Because it did. It still does. And the world is waiting for the version of you who knows why they're really here. Decode the night you were born. Tell me in the comments, what time were you born? If you don't know, this is your sign to find out. Because in the next video, I'm going to show you how to decode your birth night using your astrological chart, your moon phase, and the collective energy map you arrived in. Subscribe. Turn on the notifications. Because once you understand the night you came through, you'll finally understand why you've always felt called to something more. And when the archives open again, you'll feel it. Until next one, Astral Archives transmission complete.